What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It is Heart DFS, and today we have another NBA slate breakdown on Draftkings. Excited. The playoffs are underway. Some bad games, past couple of days, some blowouts, but should be some good ones tonight. Really excited for that. If you're new to the channel, I make daily NBA Draftkings slate breakdowns as well as future PGA and NFL slate breakdowns on Draftkings. NBA prize pick videos, all that good stuff. Make sure to follow me. Hit the like button, subscribe, comment. Do appreciate all the support. Follow me on Twitter at HeartDFS. Engaging with you guys a lot more. Put on my prize pick plays, maybe some extra plays, slate breakdowns, all that good stuff. Gaining a little bit of followers there, so definitely make sure to follow me there. Message me if you want to ask questions about lineup construction, stuff like that. I'll, throw out the what I think about, the lineup you're going with, stuff like that, all that good stuff. Now let's get into the video. We got 3 games tonight. Raptors, Sixers, 7.5 point spread, favored to the Sixers, 215.5 total. Jazz, Mavericks, 5 point spread, 206 total. And then Nuggets, Warriors, 7 point spread, 222 total. So I think the best way to go about this is definitely looking at the games log from not yesterday's games, but the first games of these series. We have the 76ers in Philly. Scotty Barnes is not going to play, and then Gary Trent Jr. is doubtful. So that's 2 guys who got 32 minutes, 26 minutes. So 2 guys who were averaging about 35 minutes to 30 minutes that are gone from the rotation, which is huge news. Thad Young hurt his thumb. He is out as well. So that leaves Boucher, Achua, and I would assume that they're going to throw in Kem Birch. Maybe they'll start Kem Birch, and then Achua and Boucher will come off the bench. And Boucher is probably going to get close to 25 minutes off the bench, unless they really run these starters probably the whole game. Pascal, you're going to see at least 40. OG, I'm assuming will get bumped up to at least 40. Van Fleet fouled out, still played 36 minutes. I'm assuming he'll get to 40 as well. And then you're going to have, what is that? About 58 minutes that you're going to have to spread out. So I'd assume Boucher gets at least 10, if not more. Precious, maybe he gets a few more. I think they're going to give a good amount to Birch. Maybe they'll throw in guys like Banton and Flynn just to fill in the guard role. But I don't think there's going to be too high of usage going to any of these guys. I think it's just going to come from Van Fleet, OG, and Siakam. They're going to have to do a ton offensively. And then I would just take a shot on a guy like Boucher. So with that in mind, let's look at the Toronto Raptors side. Pascal, 9-2. He does really well against the Sixers, which, the Sixers kind of play slow, and they're pretty decent defensively, but it doesn't matter. Pascal, Spicy P, has been doing great this season. So I really like him in this spot. 9,200 for him when he should be seeing 40-plus minutes is just a fantastic spot for him. Really like him. Same with Van Fleet. His price is down to 7,500. Played for 36 minutes, fouled out, still at 36 fancy points. I just love him in this spot, averaging almost 2 steals a game, 20 points, 4 rebounds, about 7 assists. I don't see how you don't play him in this spot against Philly. Now, there is a tad bit of blowout risk, but I do really like Fred Van Fleet in this spot as well. Same with Pascal. OG becomes, way more viable. Played 32 minutes, got you 32 fantasy points. As I said, probably going to get closer to 40 minutes just because they're going to have to run these starters into the ground to keep this game close until Scotty Barnes comes back and their guys who are injured come back. So I really think he is great today as well. Boucher, pretty much everyone on the Raptors side is in play just because of how many minutes have to go around to kind of fill in for the guys who are injured. I don't think I would get too Precious or Kem Birch, even for their prices. Maybe Kem Birch, if he can stay out of foul trouble. It's just anyone who goes against speed, there's just a huge risk of them getting in foul trouble. And so that makes Precious and Kem Birch really hard to play just because there's that risk of them not playing due to the foul trouble. So, I would take a shot on Kem Birch 3,200 just because of his price, but I'd pretty much just get to, I think Boucher is someone you really had to kind of lock in today. Same with, almost all 4 of these guys are A-plus plays on the Raptors side. Just hope this game stays close. Philly side, as we saw, it's basically just their normal rotation. Tobias seen him close to 40 minutes. Danny Green not going to play a ton. Embiid close to 40. Harden 40. Maxey played close to 40. I would assume maybe 35-ish, maybe a tad more. He was playing really well, so they kept him in. But Niang saw 16 off the bench. Reed saw 11. Thibault saw 20. Shake Milton saw 14. The game kind of did blow out the end, so these guys got a little bit more run. But it's pretty much just the main starters on this side of Philly who are going to get all the run. Embiid, 10-7 looks great. Kind of had a little bit of off game. Only 19 points. Still did get you 15 rebounds. I think you can expect the same rebound-wise, but I think you can expect, closer to 35 points this game from Embiid. I just don't know how they're going to stop him. He kind of had the off day. Maxey kind of led them to the victory, so didn't really need to feed Embiid much, but do really love him in the spot. Same with Harden. Price is just way too low for Harden once again. Hope you guys played him last slate. Not shooting the ball a ton, but still got you there points-wise. 9,200 got you 56 fantasy points. I do think Harden's another lock again today. Don't know why my computer is freezing. Sorry about that. But lock Harden in. You can get two guys like, Harris and Maxey. They're going to play the minutes, as I said. They both played really, really well against Toronto. I think it's more of an outlier game, as we've seen all season. It's pretty much come down to Embiid and then Harden when it comes to production. And then guys like Maxey and Harris, as of recently, are just throwing in, every few games, one of them will have a good game. Last game, obviously, both of them did. I don't think you can expect that. I think they're both going to come back down to their norm, but if I had to take a shot on a guy, it would obviously be Maxey. He's a little bit more score independent, but 6,400, you can't go wrong there. The other guy I would take a shot on is Matisse Thybulle. I do expect to see a little bit more minutes. I think they ran with Danny Green in the starting lineup thinking he would produce more. Only shot 1 of 6. He's just, 1 out of 15 games, he might have a good game, but otherwise he's just not viable. I'd rather get to Thybulle, who's not the best point per minute guy. I think he should see closer to 25 minutes, if not 30. He can get you those steals, blocks, a couple rebounds, assists, maybe a hit of 3 or 2. It's not going to do too much for you at 3,400, but does offer some salary relief. Moving on to the Utah-Dallas game. We can look back here. We got 31 minutes for Neal, Bogdan 40, Gobert 35, Conley 35, Mitchell 42. No one really played big minutes off the bench besides House and Clarkson, which House wasn't really expected, but Clarkson is. You would expect some more minutes out of Clarkson, but didn't really see that. So on their side, Mitchell looks great once again, 8,300. I don't know why he's so cheap. Had the worst start to his playoff career in that first half against Dallas. I think he was 1 of 9, had 3 points, came out extremely hot in the second half. Really got you there. I think we go back to him again today. There is that risk of blowouts just because of Dallas. They're not going to hit their shots. I don't see how they keep this game close. Even with Donovan Mitchell, struggling in the first game, I just think this is too good of a spot to pass up. Donovan Mitchell, he averages close to 30 points per game in the playoffs. I think he's played close to 10 playoff games. No, probably more than that, sorry. But he's averaged close to 30 points per game in the playoffs, so I think 8,300 from him is way too cheap. Gobert, he just does nothing offensively. 17 rebounds, only 5 points. Took 1 field goal. He's just not a great offensive player. If he scored more, he would have had a huge game. 7,800 is more of a secondary play for me, Gobert. Rebounds are going to be there. It's just I don't think the points are going to be there, especially if Dallas goes small. I think they might try to do that just to get Gobert out of the game, and I think it would just hurt his minutes. I just don't think he could do it. Bogdan is always worth the shot. We saw last game. He played 40 minutes, which I think he got extended a little bit just because he's playing really well. 26 real-life points, 40 fantasy points. Not bad for a guy at 5'7", but just more of a dart throw for me. Other guy I take a dart throw on is Jordan Clarkson. Got limited minutes-wise, not really sure. Especially with how bad Donovan Mitchell is doing in the first half. I think you can expect closer to his 30-minute range mark. 5-1 is a great price for him. I do think he will have a bounce-back game today. Not a lot of people will be on him. and I do like him in the spot against Dallas and their backups. Hassan Whiteside's always worth mentioning. He only played 13 minutes, still got you 15 fantasy points. I just think it's a little bit forced. It's not if Dallas goes small, it's not like they're going to throw a Whiteside out there. They'd rather throw guys like House and O'Neal, who will play a good amount of minutes. At least O'Neal will. House will probably see closer to 15 and 20 again. Not a high usage guy. If you want to take a shot on O'Neal, he's had games where he's gone into the 20s, even 30 fantasy point range, but it's just more, one every 10 games that happens. So if you do need some salary relief, I don't mind taking a shot on him at 3,800. Otherwise, I think it's just you stick with Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, and then do like a secondary dart throw on Gobert or Bogdan. On the Dallas side, we have Finney Smith played almost the whole game. Same with Bullock. I think you can expect the same from them. Powell and Kleber are going to split the minutes at center. Dinwiddie and Brunson are going to play pretty much the whole game as well. So that means Bertans and Jalen Green. I think you expect the same rotation, probably the same minutes from all these guys. So with that in mind, we have Luka, who is pretty much doubtful once again. So don't need to worry about him. Brunson and Dinwiddie look great. Once again, Brunson saw 24 times he shot the ball. Didn't shoot well at all. Still got you 24 points, 39 fantasy points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. If this game stays close, it's going to be because of as I said last night, Brunson and Dinwiddie playing really well. They both did. I think you still need at least one of them in your lineup, if not both. I know that was a very popular build last game. It's going to be popular again because they really didn't raise these guys' salaries. Spencer Dinwiddie didn't shoot the ball a ton, but he got to the free throw line a lot. I don't think he expected that. Maybe a little bit more than his average, but I'd still rather get to Brunson. He's just a little bit better offensive minded. But I don't mind playing them both. I think that's a great strategy once again today. So we're going to lock in Brunson because I do like his ceiling a little bit more than Dinwiddie. But once again, you can play them both. Finney Smith and Bullock, I guess, are in play just because of the huge minutes. They're not the best when it comes to point per minute, but Bullock's in his threes. He can easily get you there at 4,800. Pretty decent at getting some steals, but I just think it's either you play both Dinwiddie and Brunson or at least one of them, and then you go for one of these value-ish guys at like 5,200, 4,800, Finney Smith and Bullock. You can always take a shot on a guy like Powell or Kleber. Not too high of usage guys, but they can get you there at their prices. Now Bertans. Excuse me. I think I'd rather get to Kleber just because he fits a little bit better with how Brunson and Dinwiddie work. He's just a little bit better. He's a good shooter, especially from three, compared to Powell. Powell's more of just like that pick and roll guy, get you rebounds, lobs. Kleber can kind of do a little bit of everything, so I do prefer Kleber as a good value again today. As of right now, that pretty much does it for me on that Dallas side. And then the last game of the day, we have Denver and Golden State. Let's go back here for a second. Last game blew out. I don't think we can expect that again. So a lot of these minutes are kind of skewed just because of that blowout. But I think we expect Jeff Green closer to 28, 30-ish. Aaron Gordon, 35. Will Barton, same, if not more. Same with Jokic, probably closer to 40. Monte, closer to 35. Off the bench, they're going to give Cousins probably 10-ish, maybe a couple more minutes, that 10 to 15 range. JaMychal Green, probably 15 to 20. Bones will probably see 20. Austin Rivers, maybe 20 to 15. And yeah, I think that's really it on the Denver side. They're going to run their starters probably into the ground. Jokic, fantastic play once again. His price is a little bit too low for him here. Lost some minutes because of the blowout. Still had a pretty good game, so really like Jokic as well again today. Aaron Gordon, not a bad play at 6K. I don't really like playing him, but he can score the ball a decent amount. Golden State is pretty small, and so he should be able to do pretty well. He had kind of the classic Aaron Gordon game. 26 minutes, only 14 fantasy points. I do expect him to play a little bit better today, so I don't mind him at 6K. Will Barton, always prefer him as a secondary scorer. He had 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 40 fantasy points. Do really like him at 5'5" in this, fast-paced matchup against Golden State, who plays no defense. So I really like Will Barton with Jokic. Another great game 2, game stack. Let's see. Monte Morris is viable at 4,900. Should see close to 35 minutes. Not like the highest of usage guy, but will get you those assists, maybe a couple steals. The steals really helped inflate his fantasy score. I just think he's more of like a C+ play on this side. Bones Highlands is a guy that you can take a shot on, dart throw. Minutes did come down even in the blowout, which you don't like to see, but I think you can expect at least 20, maybe 25 if he's shooting the ball well. So I don't mind that play. I don't think it to do it. These other guys, Jeff Green's a decent play when it comes to salary relief. Same with Jermichael Green. They both should see, 20-ish minutes. Jermichael Green's a little bit better of an offensive player, but he's also kind of more like a center, power forward type, and I don't know how much they're going to play him with Aaron Gordon, most likely taking a lot of those minutes. But, I don't mind. It's just my favorite play on the side is Jokic, obviously, without reason. And then Barton, and then the rest of those guys, if you want to take, some salary relief, look to, Jeff Green and then Jermichael Green. But I just don't think you get to do it. Just get to one of those two main guys. Golden State side, we have the Warriors. They played, once again, blowout, so a lot of these guys didn't play close to their normal minutes. I do think we can expect to see... Wait. I just want to go back real fast. I don't know how many minutes Steph played. Let's see here. Steph played 22 minutes. And he's only 9,100. I do think they'll be on him as a superstar guard. I played... Okay. So Steph still looks to be on a minutes limit. I'm assuming it was probably close to 25 in that first game. Obviously, because of the blowout, they didn't really need to play him in the second half at all. So he didn't get any more minutes. But I really like him at 9,100 as kind of like a, dart throw-ish play. The price is high for a guy who's only going to play close to 25 minutes. Maybe get close to 30. But he's one of those guys. He's arguably the best shooter ever in the NBA, and he could easily get you there in 25, if not 30 minutes. So I like him as kind of like a dark horse tournament play today at 9,100. Jordan Poole had a great game in only 30 minutes. Shot the ball 19 times, made it 9 times, had 30 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound. Only got you 36 fantasy points. Not really worth it at that price of 7,900. Don't really think you can expect the same thing again from him today. Clay, a little unfortunate. The game blew out. He was on pace to get his fantasy point over. But yeah, it blew out. Don't mind him at 7,400. I think he'd be my favorite play on this side. Draymond Green, with both of them in play, as I said, he does well. I think you look to him to have another good game. 12 rebounds, or 12 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Kind of went over on his points total just because he hit a 3, but I do really like him in a spot with both Curry and Thompson. Draymond kind of returns to his old form, has a lot more assist opportunities, a little bit more opportunities to score the ball up top of threes or down below. So I do like Draymond Green a little bit. Wiggins is more of a secondary play. I mean, these guys will all get minutes. The starters are going to play a ton. Throw Otto Porter Jr. in there for about 20-ish minutes. I don't mind him at that price of 4,500. He can shoot the ball well and get you rebounds, but I think they're just going to kind of stick to the starters on this side. Yeah, I'd stay with just the kind of main guys of that dart throwing stuff. You can play Poole. I'm not. Klay Thompson and Draymond Green are kind of my favorite plays. Wiggins always semi-viable. Doesn't have a huge ceiling at all. Otto Porter, they'll throw him in there. Kevon Looney will play, maybe 15 minutes. I think Denver's obviously going to feed Jokic, and I think Golden State's fine with Jokic, scoring the ball. They're going to limit everyone else. And that's kind of what happened last game. They just beat them with offense. Didn't really care too much about the defense. I think that will happen in this series the whole time. They're going to let Jokic do what he wants and then limit everyone else. So I just think that kind of limits playing these big men like Looney or Nemanja. So I don't think I'd get to any of those guys. I just get to Clay or Draymond and then take that shot on Steph or Jordan. And that's kind of the few and a half for today, guys. I know this is a little bit of a longer one, but I wanted to give you guys a nice breakdown and kind of go over how many minutes people got, how the game went, and how that affected people's minutes. So this is what I'm liking so far today. There's a lot of great plays on the board today. Really liking Harden and Mitchell and Jokic. I know it's a little hard to play all these guys just because you only have 3K remaining over for 2 spots, and there really isn't anyone to fill in that spot. So maybe if I had to take one, I'd say maybe take out Jokic, and then you could throw in a guy like Pascal or Van Fleet. Yeah, I'd say Pascal or Van Fleet over Jokic, or you throw in Jokic, take out Harden, and you can play Pascal or Van Fleet. There's a good amount of mix and matching you can do. You can at least fit in 3 guys from the 8 to 9K range, or 2 or 3 if you play Jokic. So that's kind of the route I'm going today. Stay updated on my Twitter at HardTFS for my core before we're going into slate. And if you could like, subscribe, comment, do appreciate all the support. I'll have an NBA prize pick video out within the hour, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another slate breakdown. Thank you guys. See you in a bit. Peace.